The message that the UK Independence Party is giving is a message that has been given on behalf of the British people and is one they've never ever heard before.
I don't support holding a referendum.
We don't want that flag. We don't want the anthem. We don't want this political class.
I don't think an in-out referendum is the answer.
You are bullying, you are threatening, you are anti-democratic, you're a complete shout.
We're not having a referendum on in or out of the European Union.
The question that I want to ask, that we're all going to ask is, who are you? Nobody in Europe had ever heard of you. I would like to ask the President, who voted for you?
The issue of a referendum is not arguing that there should be an in-out referendum. I don't want Britain to leave the European Union.
Nigel Farage hopes David Cameron will one day eat his words.
We await the results of the European elections.
If you get what you like, things will never be quite the same again.
The UK Independence Party has managed to win over the hearts of the majority of the British public.
We will give the British people a referendum. It will be an in-out referendum.
My vision is to put this country and the British people first, and for us to divorce ourselves from political union and to re-engage with the rest of the world. It is upbeat, it is optimistic, and you know something? I think we're going to win.
And UK is going to be in the back of the queue.
The consequences will be negative.
What comes first, World War III or the global Brexit recession?
What I think they really mean is they just don't think we're good enough. Well, I do.
Give us a beat for Brexit. Hey! That's it. Give us a beat for Brexit. Our leaders don't believe in the country. You know, and we can run our own country, and we can control our own borders. Ladies and gentlemen, we're calling time on Britain's membership of the European Union.
This is one vote that really will change things. So go out, vote for your country, vote with your heart, and do it.
The wait is over. Brits head to the polls today to decide their future if they choose Brexit, to leave the European Union.
In or out, it is too late to change your mind now.
Dare to dream that the dawn is breaking on an independent, united kingdom.
And Sky News is projecting that the UK has
It's Independence Day. The ordinary decent people in this country have overthrown the establishment. There are 17 million people that voted for Brexit. It's a victory for ordinary people. June the 23rd needs to become a national bank holiday, and we will call it Independence Day.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our great man, Nigel Farage. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for that fantastic welcome. We did it. We got our country back. And we would not have done it without you, the People's Army of UKIP. And I'm very, very proud of every single one of you. Thank you. The events of June the 23rd, as by sort of 3 and 3:30 in the morning, we realised we were going to win, felt to me like a fairy tale, frankly, that had come true. Because this has been a very long journey indeed. 25 years ago, I joined the Anti-Federalist League. Not many people can say that, because there weren't many of us. And then in 1993, it became UKIP. And I said to myself, it doesn't matter that all my friends and family and business colleagues think I've gone mad. It doesn't matter to me that history says it's impossible to get a new political party off the ground in this country. To me, it was very simple. All those years ago, it was a matter of principle. I believed we should govern our own country. And 6 weeks after the party had been formed, the Conservative Member of Parliament for Eastleigh died overnight, and there was a by-election. And I thought, well, in for a penny, in for a pound, and I volunteered, and I was the first ever adopted candidate of the UK Independence Party. And I went out there, and I campaigned, and I did my best, and I can tell you that on the night of the result, by a crushing, clear margin of 164 votes, I beat the late, great Screaming Lord Sutch and didn't come last. So it was kind of difficult to get more than about 1% in a by-election for us in those days. But things changed in 1999 with the advent of proportional representation for the European elections. And no one thought that we had a chance. I always did. And I'll never forget that night when 3 of us were elected and UKIP was just beginning to get on, in real terms, the political map. And I'll never forget that feeling. It was an amazing feeling. And I was interviewed. My first ever live interview was with Phil Hornby from Meridian. He's here, I think, in the room today. And I, of course, had no media training or anything like that. And it was a live interview, 1:30 in the morning. And Phil Hornby said to me, well, congratulations, Nigel. You said you were going to do it. You have. But next week, he said, you'll be off on Eurostar to the European Parliament. And you'll find a never-ending round of invitations to lunches, dinners, champagne receptions. Do you, he asked me, think you'll become corrupted by the lifestyle? And I replied live on air, no, I've always lived like that. Well, at least it was true. We went on for year after year. Being part of UKIP, it's been like a Big Dipper ride. Successes, dramatic failures, internecine warfare, all the things that happen within any political party. But we first really got onto the political big time early in 2013. Early in 2013, when suddenly the British public realised that what we had to say about the taboo subject, the subject that you were not supposed to discuss in polite company, the subject that New Labour made even raising it as if somehow you were committing a criminal offence. Yes, we weren't frightened to talk honestly and openly about the need for sensible immigration into this country. And we talked about it. And we talked about it, and it was rapidly becoming the #1 issue in British politics, and nobody else would even touch the subject. They couldn't touch the subject because they were all committed to membership of European Union, which meant the free movement of up to 500 million people. So the Eastleigh by-election, suddenly we got a big score. We then went into the county elections of that year. And I remember I was due in Millbank, #4 Millbank, where all the broadcasters are. I was due in there at about 9 o'clock to do some interviews about UKIP overnight getting 23% of the national vote. And as I got about 100 yards away from the entrance, I saw a big throng of cameramen and photographers. And I thought, crikey, something really big must have happened. And I really was quite oblivious to just what we'd done. We've gone on from there, guys. We won the European elections in 2014. the first party that wasn't Labour or Tory to win a national election since 1906. Without us, there would have been no referendum. Without you and the People's Army, there would have been no ground campaign. And together, we have changed the course of British history. And we've brought down a Prime Minister. And we've got rid of the Chancellor. I forget what I called him now. And we've got rid of a European Commissioner. I said 4 years ago, I predicted that UKIP would cause an earthquake in British politics. Well, we have. We have. So the question is, what now? We have a new Prime Minister who has said that Brexit means Brexit. A new Prime Minister who, when she started, looked to be very sure-footed on this issue. But I have a feeling that things are beginning to change. When I saw her at the G20, making her speech afterwards, she said that the British people voted in the referendum for some control of immigration from the European Union. No, Prime Minister, we voted to take back control of our borders. Simple as. And we have cabinet ministers like the Home Secretary still fighting the referendum, suggesting last weekend that it might cost us 50 quid to get a visa to go on a booze cruise to Calais. Half this cabinet did not only fail to support the winning side in the referendum, but it seems to me they want to do their utmost to keep us part of the single market. There is going to be a great political battle ahead. And my concern would be this. With Labour in the mess that it's in, and boy, it is in a mess, isn't it? A leadership election going on, and yet there's no conversation with the half of Labour voters or more in the Midlands or North that voted for Brexit. But with Labour in trouble, and with the Conservatives perhaps heading towards 2020 in a very comfortable and a very easy position, the temptation on the Prime Minister will be to go for a soft Brexit as opposed to a hard Brexit. We can be very proud of the fact that we won the war, but we now must win the peace. And the only mechanism to put pressure on the government to keep the debate live and to make sure that those 17.4 million people get what they voted for is for UKIP to be healthy and for UKIP to be strong. We will find out at 1:30 who our new leader is. And I wish them, I'm guessing it's going to be a her, but we'll see. I wish them the very best of luck. And my job is not to meddle. My job is not to try and influence. But my job will be, if that leader wants any help and advice, then make no mistake about it, I am still foursquare behind this party's and its aims. Steve Crowther has stood beside me for 6 years as chairman of the party, and if you think being leader of UKIP is difficult, you want to try being chairman of UKIP. And I have to say that if at some point in time UKIP do get recognised for their contribution to British political life, and bearing in mind that the Liberal Democrats have over 100 life peers in the House of Lords. If anything like that was to come our way, then I think, Steve, you really ought to be top of our list for everything you've done for this party. Steve talked about reform, he talked about change. Remember this, UKIP was a grassroots political party. UKIP didn't have, in the 1990s, any well-known national figures. It didn't even have, until 99, any elected representatives. It was a grassroots party, and we chose to manage ourselves through a National Executive Committee of willing volunteers. And that was fine then. But we've moved on, haven't we? We're now the third biggest political party in this country. We have to change our management structures, and we have to guard, because one of the problems of success is that it brings people into the party who perhaps don't do it for altruistic aims for the country or its people, but perhaps are more motivated by their own professional careers in politics. So there are things that need to change. But in essence, I know from that referendum campaign and since, I know this party is united. I know this party is strong. You've only got to look at the by-elections week after week in Kent to see that since the referendum, UKIP is winning. And there are millions of people out there who now identify as UKIP voters. They believe in us. They trust us. They think we're speaking up for them. And the fact that we've changed the centre of gravity of British politics, the fact that many of the things that we've campaigned on, whether it's grammar schools or foreign aid or whatever it may be, the fact the others are talking about it doesn't mean they're going to deliver it. And it's us that has to keep pushing all of those agendas. Not only are there millions of people out there who feel loyal to us, but I don't think that the harvest of votes that we could potentially get from the Labour Party has really even started yet. In many ways, Jeremy Corbyn is a very decent and principled man. But he doesn't believe in Britain. He doesn't even want to sing the national anthem. He flunked it, didn't he, when it came to the referendum? And I think we've got fantastic potential in Wales and the Midlands and the North and elsewhere in picking up Labour votes. And believe me, if Brexit doesn't mean Brexit, then I think there'll be a very large number of Conservatives who will say there's only one party that we can support. And I think, we'll judge whether Brexit means Brexit, for me, on three very simple measures. By the time the next general election comes along, will we have back our territorial fishing waters around the coast of the United Kingdom? Will we be outside the single market so that the 90% of our businesses that don't trade with Europe don't get regulated by Europe? And above all, the acid test of Brexit. The only time we will really know, you might have seen this before actually, the only time we will know that Brexit means Brexit is when that has been put in the bin and we get back a British passport. And I have a feeling they're not going to deliver all of that. And I'm certain they won't deliver it unless UKIP is strong and fighting hard in every single constituency in this country. As I say, we've won the war, we must now win the peace. For my part, today closes the chapter on what has been a pretty extraordinary few years. I honestly looking back, could never really have dreamt that we would achieve what we have. I have put absolutely all of me into this. I literally couldn't have worked any harder or couldn't have been more determined. In a sense, I guess it's been my life's work to try and help get this party to this point. I frankly don't think I could do any more. I think, folks, I've done my bit. And but I'm not giving up on politics completely. As I say, I will support the new leader. I'm going to continue to lead a group in the European Parliament, sitting next to Mr. Juncker, and making my constructive contributions. And I intend this autumn to travel around some other European capitals to try and help independence and democracy movements in those countries too. And who knows, I may even go back to the United States of America at some point between now. So I'm going to be engaged. I'm going to be engaged in political life without leading a political party, and it's going to leave me freer. It's going to leave me less constrained. From now on, I'm really going to speak my mind. I said, as I toured the country on that wonderful open-top bus and met thousands of you out there, I said, I want my country back. And now, folks, I want my life back. And can I thank everybody? The massive contribution that so many thousands of you have made to helping me do this job, to helping us change the course of British history. Thank you. All right, guys. We'll try and put you in the House of Lords, Steve. Thanks so much. Okay, no, brilliant. Brilliant. All right. Thank you.